Good morning. Let's try some solving inequalities here. Remember, we're going to use the same steps as when we solve an equation, except for if we multiply or divide by a negative number, we need to flip the direction of the inequality. And also, as part of that solving step process, remember that we undo addition and subtraction first, and multiplication and division second. So, we're going to add 10 here because negative 10 and positive 10 make 0. So that is now not over on the left side. But on the right side, since we added 10, we have positive 3. And then n is getting divided by 2 here. So to undo dividing by 2, we have to multiply by 2. What we do on one side, we do on the other. So here I multiplied on each side, but I multiplied by a positive number. So I'm not going to flip the direction of the inequality. So if you're going to check numbers in this original inequality to be solutions, if you check any number that's 6 or larger, it would make the inequality true. Number 2, to undo subtracting 7, we add 7. That makes 0 on the left side. Now we have b divided by 20 is greater than negative 1. So then we multiply by 20 to undo dividing by 20. Again, I'm multiplying each side by a positive number, so I do not flip the inequality symbol. All numbers greater than negative 20 are solutions. Number 5, I'm going to undo dividing. Did I skip? You have to give number 3 a shot on your own. I know that there's a 0 in that problem. Just treat it like a normal number and keep working with it. We get negative 2x is less than 10 once I subtract 1 from each side. And so now I'm going to divide each side by negative 2 to undo the negative 2. The 2's cancel out, the negatives cancel out. So now I have x, and on the right side I have negative 5. But I need to flip the direction of the inequality. And when you realize that you're dividing by a negative, maybe that's the first thing you want to do before you bring other things down and be like, oh man, I gotta flip the direction of the inequality, others I might forget. And so if you check numbers that are greater than negative 5 in here, it will make the inequality true. If you check numbers that are not greater than negative 5, less than negative 5, like negative 10 or negative 15, it will make the inequality, it will not be a solution up here because it'll make the inequality not true. Make sure here that we distribute first. So we have 15 plus 3p is less than or equal to 15. So we subtract 15, 3p is less than or equal to, we get a 0 here. And so then to get p by itself, to undo multiplying by 3, we divide by 3. Although in this case it's silly because 0 divided by 3 is still 0, so we need to follow through that process to make sure we get p by itself. But I divided by a positive, so I'm not flipping the direction of the inequality. Number 9. So now p is on the right side of the equation. If that bothers you folks, you can always you could rewrite it over here. Just take the right side, negative 2 plus p over 12, and put it on the left side. And notice the Pac-Man is eating the side with the p. So you need to make sure the Pac-Man continues to eat the side of the negative 2 plus p over 12. There we go. It's not facing the negative 1, and the way I wrote this, it's still not facing the negative 1. These two inequalities are equivalent. And if you like working with the variable on the left side, now you would do that over there. I'm going to keep it on the right, but your process would be exactly the same. Like here, p is getting added by negative 2, so I need to add a positive 2 to each side of the inequality. So I get positive 1 is less than or equal to p divided by 12. And that would have been your first step over here. Now your second step would have been to undo dividing by 12 by multiplying by 12. So 12, and I multiplied each side by a positive number. p is greater than or equal to 12. Always read from the variable. If I wanted to rewrite that, I can rewrite it with the p on the left. But the Pac-Man, or the inequality statement's eating the p. The p is the larger thing, so when I write the p on the left, I have to keep the Pac-Man facing towards the p. These two statements are equivalent. They mean the same thing. Last two. We're going to subtract 1 here to undo adding 1. So we get 2 is greater than k over 5. Then we multiply each side by 5. So we get 10 is greater than k, or k is less than 10. Notice the Pac-Man's eating the 10. The Pac-Man has to be eating the 10 over here. I put the variable on the other side. Last but not least, we get, when we distribute here, we get negative 10x, and then careful, negative 10 plus negative 10 times negative 8 is positive 80. We're multiplying as we distribute there. So we'll subtract 80 to undo adding 80. We get 10 is greater than negative 10x. So to solve for x, I'll divide by negative 10 to undo multiplying by negative 10. Wait, I just divided by a negative. So I'm going to flip the direction of the inequality. So it's now going to go that way. Bring down my x, bring down negative 1. X is greater than negative 1. Or if we want to write it with x on the left, x is greater than negative 1.